In this video, I'm going to talk about what to do if your teenage child is ever hitting this wall of keeping it going to get better from FND. It's almost like your teen is losing steam or losing motivation, even though logically it totally makes sense, and then you know that your teen wants to get better from FND. So let's dive in. Hi, my name is Dr. Lee. I'm a pediatric health psychologist and the founder of Teen FND Academy, which is an online group coaching program to help teens with FND and their parents to resolve the condition so that they can get their life back and feel like normal again. So what is FND? It's a short for functional neurological disorder that includes non-epileptic seizures, paralysis, vision loss, cognitive dysfunction, brain fog, chronic pain, etc., etc., etc. All of these things are under the umbrella of functional neurological disorder, short for FND, and it is a cross-wired problem between the brain and the body communication, even though physically and structurally your child's brain and body are a-okay. That's why nobody can see it on the scan, MRI, EEG, X-ray, CT scan, whatever you name it. It is a biopsychosocial phenomenon. It is no longer just a stress, anxiety, or trauma. And good news, teens with FND, your chance of getting better completely is actually really, really high. But the biggest thing that sets apart from people who get better versus not is when you start the healing journey. So speaking of, there are some teens that I have worked with who are so motivated to get better, and I can see clearly, but then somehow they lose steam or motivation, and somehow they hit this wall of not getting better. And when I ask them those questions, like what's stopping you from wanting to get better, it's not that they don't want to get better, but they somehow lose this motivation. And so I found out there are some common denominators, so which I'm going to talk to you about, which I'm going to share with you. So hopefully if your child ever hits the wall, then you'll know exactly what to do and then what to do instead. So common denominator number one is this sense of this change is hard and choppy in the beginning. And it's almost like whatever the teens need to do feel like a chore. And I don't know if the chore has a bad reputation or what, and it just does not have a good or positive connotation around it. But that is exactly what these teens are feeling like, oh my God, the change feels so hard, and it's really like a chore that they kind of have to do that they don't want to do. The consequence of them feeling that way is really not practicing the skills or the things that they're supposed to be doing, right? And even though logically they get it, they just don't do it. Right? And they do something else instead. The real consequence for that is, well, obviously they continue to struggle and not get better. So why these teens lose motivation almost suddenly, or maybe it wasn't there to begin with, or it gradually sort of disappeared. Whatever the case is, your teen might be having one of these three things, or combination, or all of the above, and then some. One is the wrong expectations. So they are thinking, well, it has to be one and done. Meaning, if they're practicing this one skill, one strategies, or one thing, they think, oh, I tried that, but it didn't work right away. So if I ask them, so how many times and how long and how often did you practice these things? Well, I thought it was one and done. So they have these wrong expectations. The second part is a wrong mindset. And it has more to do with their having doubt, like how is this going to help me? Not understanding. So there's a lot of questions leads to doubt and wrong mindset. Therefore, they lose the motivation. Like, how is it going to help me? Well, I did something similar before and it didn't help me. So why this is different this time, kind of thing. And the third one that I have noticed is a wrong player. And I talk about this a lot in my online program, Teen FND Academy, because parents are required to be part of the program for a reason. Because when it comes to the wrong player, sometimes I'm noticing parents are a lot more enthusiastic about their child getting better from FND than the teens themselves. So what happens as a result is a teen goes right into the backseat, so they become this backseat syndrome. They don't really do anything because somebody else is taking care and doing things for them. So again, they're losing not only the motivation, but a sense of control. But oddly, scientifically, it's proven that individuals who have FND tend to have this lower sense of control. Therefore, part of the healing journey within my program, Teen FND Academy, is to teach the teens how to regain the control of their brain and their body, while parents are also promoting the empowerment by sort of backing off how they can do less of the player, but more like a cheerleader. So those are the three common things that I noticed, like wrong expectations, wrong mindset, and then wrong player. So what to do? Here is exactly the nitty gritty of what I teach my teens and the parents in my online program. Number one, teens don't really need a motivation. Somehow they think this motivation is this thing that they have to have in order for them to get moving. Well, while that might be the case for some, but if they're waiting for their motivation to kick in for something that is new, or the thing that they have to do, which is like perceived a difficult thing that they have to do, even though it's not really that difficult, but they think that it's difficult, then nothing is going to happen. They can wait for a million more years and waiting for this like magic motivation to sort of like fall under their laps and then, whoa, okay, I feel motivated today, I'm just going to do it. It doesn't work that way. Therefore, I always say, teens don't really need to have a motivation to begin with. But what they do need to have is this. What do they want to do when, not if, when they get better from FND? Conversely, what do they want to stop doing when they get better? So if you think about it, I'm pretty sure teens started doing a lot of things like million doctor's appointments or all of these other things, supplements and whatever the teens started doing. And there are, I'm pretty sure, a lot of things that teens stopped doing, like living like a normal life, going to school and doing these sports activities or any social fun things, whatever it is. So what is it that they want to get rid of when they get better from FND and get back to or start doing? So that is what they absolutely need to do and know, because otherwise they're sort of trying to go on a journey without any goal. And the second part is why? Why is it so important for them to get better? We already know that teens want to get better. And then parents, the same thing. Who doesn't want to get better after all, right? So that part is already given. But really, why? Is that because the parents are telling the teen that it is important for them to get better? Or do they actually want to get better on their own because they are so sick and tired of living like this, not having life, or having the FND sort of keeping them captive? It's almost like they're in prison. So why? It's really important for the parents to let the child speak up. It's not, again, who the player is the teen, because they're the ones who are going through this, right? So even though the parents might have their own why, it's really important for the teens to come up with their own why. Otherwise, they will never feel like they're going to be in control, which again goes against the grain of getting better from FND. So once your teens have that why do they want to get better? And what is it that they want to do when they get better? And then what is it that they want to stop doing when they get better? All right. So after that, because that is a strong foundation that is absolutely necessary, but here are the tips. The 1, 2, 3 steps, literally super easy. That is do, re, mi. I don't know if you play instrument, but essentially it's a do, re, mi in that particular order. So let me walk you through what that means. Do, the do, D-O, is do a small thing with or without FND. Again, the more teens can come up with their own thing, that is a super baby step of one thing that they're going to be doing with or without, and I mean with or without FND. And when I say small thing, it's not just one and done, but consistently. So it's not something that they do occasionally to get better. If they want to get better, they have to have a skin in the game. Therefore, they have to do something rather consistently. So that's a do. The step 2 of re is reward yourself for taking that first step. Really, it doesn't matter how you reward it, as long as parents are okay with whatever the reward is and the reward is safe and healthy, then I don't really care what that is. And parents, you can set the parameter. Okay, these are the things that we can comfortably and then safely can say yes. So you can do that. But teens have to come up with what is it that they want and the one to choose the price. Usually I recommend teens, all right, come up with any items on the list for reward, whether it's a reasonable or possible or ridiculous or not. Come up with that and then show that list to your parents, and the parents are going to say, okay, we can probably work on this one, but this one is like what giant Like I want to go to the Mars, kind of thing. Okay, this is a giant thing that we kind of need to figure this out. But the rest of the thing, I think we can work this out. And again, this reward does not have to be like right after each and every time. It could be that if you want some sort of a short-term dopamine releasing this reward, you can do that. However, you can also set medium or long-term goal where you can sort of earn the points to get to that medium or long-term goal. That's fine too. So you get to pick and choose, but reward yourself. And then the me is literally, then you're going to feel motivated about that small success. So see, the motivation doesn't even need to come first. Literally do the thing, the small thing that you set up, so then you have a control with or without FND. So it could be just for you, super debilitated situation right now, could be just getting up from the bed, staying off the phone for an hour, whatever it is that you choose to help you to get better. And then reward yourself, whether it's small, medium, or large. And then when you do this do and re enough, then the motivation comes afterwards naturally, because then you will know that you're getting better. And so that becomes the biggest motivation for you to keep going, the do part. Again, it's not one and done. You have to start somewhere and then be consistent. When I say consistent, minimum 5 days a week. You can have a weekend off, so to speak, or 7 days a week. Whatever it is that you start somewhere and then baby steps. So that's the beauty of Do-Re-Mi. But those 3 steps have to have the foundation of why they want to get better and what is it that they can get out of when they get better. So it could be something very tangible. So I don't have to worry about having these symptoms when I go out with my friends. That's a good enough answer, and that's a good enough motivation, right? That's a good enough reason why they want to get better. So those are the kindlings, and then they started doing and rewarding themselves. And then this motivation is starting to percolate and come up to a bigger thing later on. But if the teens are waiting for that motivation to kick in, not going to happen, right? So they kind of have to get rid of that wrong expectations, wrong mindset, and then the wrong player. And that's why when it comes to teen FND, parents' involvement is absolutely necessary, because I keep telling the parents, look, you're not the problem. You are the solution. You are the secret weapon. And if you believe that you did something wrong, then get good at fixing and repairing that thing that you did. Instead of feeling hopeless and then helpless, well, the damage is already done and there's nothing I can do. Well, we're not really going to be able to fix that. Well, as long as you are alive and your teen is alive, there's absolutely a possibility for you to turn the ship around. Again, it might be choppy, it might be rough, it's going to be feeling like a chore. That's why not so much of the motivation, but the reason why they want to get better becomes their North Star. Well, leave me a comment what your teen's why is, and I would love to get in touch with you. And if you and your teen are serious about getting better and resolve FND and need the guidance and expert help, then you might qualify for my program. Click the link down below to schedule a call to talk to me today. Well, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video.